Warren says, Ahmad is a shining example of how loans can work. Rasmus needs to keep an open mind if he comes to it. Yeah, and look, again, the reason why I don't think he will be loaned, and we'll talk about Rasmus now, is because we need to get money in the door. Now, David Ornstein has been speaking about Rasmus today, and he says that there is a very good chance that Rasmus Hojlund leaves Manchester United this summer. Now, he hasn't specified whether that's going to be by loan or whether it's going to be as a full sale. But, I mean, when you hear David Ornstein speaking about him potentially leaving, then you know it's true. And you know United are potentially looking to move him on. And look, we've heard reports about Inter Milan potentially being interested in him. And yeah, look, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I think, again, like I've said, ultimately, I don't think he's good enough for Manchester United. I think he does need to be moved on. And I think he is a player that realistically we could get some decent money for. You know, I think we could. Now, how much can you get back from what we paid? I don't know, to be quite honest with you. But, I mean, we overpaid for him in the first place. So you just don't know what type of money you could get back for him. And I think if you could get anywhere between, 30 and 40 million, you'd have to take it. I don't know if you would get that. Who would pay that type of money for him? I don't know. But, yeah, it's, yeah. Nisha Fan says, appreciate it, guys. Smash a like on the video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Darryl says, what's he worth? 30 million, says D. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you could get 40 million pounds for him, I would take the arm and all off you. So I would. And I would thank you every day for the next decade. But look, ultimately, I think there will be a lot of negotiations needed for a deal like that. And again, depending on what kind of offers come in, United are going to have to weigh up what benefits them the most. You know, do you let him out on loan and hope he improves and bring it? But again, I mean, the thing is, he could go out on loan, do really well at, you know, Inter Milan, or he could go to Serie A, or he could go to La Liga or Bundesliga or wherever. Doesn't mean he's going to come back and do good again for Manchester United, you know. And again, look, like Warren said there, Ahmad is the shining light on how loan deals can work, you know. But Martial isn't. And we've seen what happened there. You know, you can go, you might not do well. And you know, and look at Anthony, for example. Anthony went on loan, done fantastically, but we still want to sell him. So there are differentials that need to be taken into consideration depending on the player. You know, Anthony went, done really well, tore it up at Betis, but we still know he's not good enough for Manchester United. And I think ultimately, if we were to sell Rasmus Hojlund, I think we would still come to the same conclusion. He could go to a Sevilla or an Inter Milan and score, 15, 20 goals next season. I think we would all still be quite convinced he's still not good enough for Manchester United. So I think if we can get him gone on a permanent this summer, I think it's the right move. But again, if a loan with an option or a loan with an obligation, then fantastic, send him on his way. And I think that's probably the right thing to do. 40 million, thanks, good luck, says Desi. Absolutely. Bishnu is in. Hello, good to see you. Nisha Fan says, we could sign Thomas Muller on a free and get him to help Rasmus on. No, he's too old, I'm afraid. D says, anything over 30 mil will be delivered in installments in dodgy envelopes. Maybe so. But I think over 30 mil, you've got to look at it. You've got to seriously consider it. Rasmus isn't good enough either, says Darryl. Yeah, so there we go, guys. And